We got invited to support a podcast session last year, and that was on how to attract agents if you're an author or an indie author. Agents being that interim step, helping you into the market, helping you find that publishing contract if one is available for you. And we put our feedback in place and it seemed to go down well. We chose Patreon as a partner to share some of our material. We were going to do it ourselves through a dedicated website, but we thought this technology is already out there. It's ready and raring to go. We may as well use it. So we put a lot of this material onto Patreon. Some sessions of both this podcast and other media that we do have certain media rights and exclusions to them, but we can always put things on Patreon. So if you're interested in finding the really exclusive sets, the sets that you won't find across other social media channels, it's worth going to have a look. We don't spam people. We don't bombard them with information. We don't email them, several times a day. But the information is there and you can scroll through, find it, use it, and we can have very private conversations as well, if that's your preference. But we thought we'd dedicate one of these episodes within the first 10 of the Authors, Writers and Communications group, just to give writers a little bit more insight in terms of trying to find an agent. Now, what we're about to say is what we've found, is our experience. There'll be lots of different insights out there and different views. That's absolutely fine. But still layering on what we discussed last year, it's the fact when you come to find an agent, believe it or not, the full power of that is on you as the writer, as the author. Now, there are good agents out there. There are not so good agents. This isn't a debate on who's good and who's bad, even though it would always be good to get reasonable feedback, truthful feedback, honest feedback. Sometimes the feedback can be quite cutting, we know that, but if somebody is professional enough, they will be courteous enough and certainly prompt enough to give the relevant feedback when it's due. The reason we say the onus and the power is on you is because what a lot of authors and indie authors don't do is research the market thoroughly enough before they reach out to agents. Therefore, they will prepare either the full manuscript, a test piece of the manuscript, they will write a letter, and they'll start to send these components out. The only thing that will change is the name and address or the email address of the person that they're trying to make contact with. What they're not doing is they're not doing any research on the agent to find out not just what titles that they're looking for at that present time, not just the publishing houses that agent might be working with, which can always sway a theme of books that agent is looking for, regardless of what it says on their website or on a social media post. Things can change in a heartbeat. So an agent might be looking for romance works, and then all of a sudden they get a different brief and they start to look towards thrillers, even though very often they look towards thrillers with a romance feel to it. But there's very much a change in that context. But what authors don't do is they don't look enough in lots of cases. Some do, and some have done. Some have done so since hearing our podcast last year or since hearing our dedicated advice when we've helped them. they haven't looked at the individual who is the agent in terms of how they work, what things attract them, are there different patterns, different interests. All of these things can make one huge difference to even just get a conversation with them, not a rejection letter or anything else, but to get some kind of conversation. Because if you've been looking to publish a book and it's been taking some time, you might still get an answer in a few days' time to say, no, it's not for us right now. But if you start to have a conversation, you might then start to get some feedback to say, in 3 to 6 months' time, or in the next season, we'll be interested. And that timescale in the world of book publishing is nothing. Because at least you're then 1 or 2 steps closer to hopefully then getting a publishing deal or at least getting an agent. Now, our podcast last year went on for the best part of 2 hours, so it went into an awful lot of depth. It's on our Patreon account. You're more than welcome to sign into that. Just basically ask for an email. That's all that it does. But it just helps to get you a little bit closer to what we do, how we do things, and then if people do want some additional help from this or on this, we can aim to help in various ways. But the point I'm trying to make there is the fact we're going to struggle to cover the entire topic in what we're just trying to do in 10 minutes here, just a little bit of a soundbite just to introduce the concept to people. But if you can research agents that you want to reach out to and then tailor the information that you send based on that interest that you find in that research, it wouldn't be any surprise, and people have found this, that instead of sending out 100 letters and getting many, many rejections and maybe even getting 0 replies to say, yes, we're interested at some point, you might come to reach out to 10 or 20 agents and get a number of good and positive conversations. And from those good and positive conversations, all that you then need is one that's interested at some point in the not too distant future, and that's mission accomplished. Therefore, have a little think on this. We're here to help in the best ways that we can in between everything that we do. We have the Patreon account with more context there. But I just wanted to use one of these sessions just to reintroduce this, because when we've worked with authors independently on this topic, it's really made a big difference. And it's helped us to get closer to some agents as well that have been really appreciative of the advice that we've given people, because it makes their job a little bit easier as well. And the quality of relationships in terms of the quality of the authors using this process, and the quality of the agents then looking at what an author has then sent them has increased. So the quality of the relationships overall have then come to be much better.